Fox Business Alert: as quickly as Meta's battle royale for AI talent reached epic proportions, it stopped. After dropping hundreds of millions of dollars since June to poach top engineers and researchers for its new AI division, Meta announced it is freezing its hiring spree. The spree began back in June when CEO Mark Zuckerberg invested $14.3 billion in a company called Scale AI and lured away its CEO to lead Meta's new superintelligence lab. Microsoft began raiding Inflection AI last year when it hired its co-founders. Amazon has also jumped into the fray, hiring away the founders and top talent from Adept and Covariant, while Google inked a deal with Character AI and hired its founders. But what if the companies gutted once the raiders gallop away with the human capital? To the startup Windsurf, which in a single day saw its co-founder and CEO poached by Google, but managed an 11th hour save by its former business head and now CEO, Jeff Wang. He's here in a Fox Business exclusive. This is fascinating to me. I mean, you were probably sitting there in a single day thinking, what do we do? I'm left with a shell. Talk about the day that you found out that Google was poaching your top people.
Yeah, it was, it felt like the weight of the world was all of a sudden on my shoulders. And the immediate thing that I was trying to figure out is, how do I make this a win-win? How do I find a solution where everybody can still be happy with the outcome? And that was very hard on that first day.
Okay, that first day was the day, right? You were on the phone for something like 12 hours trying to figure things out. But back up a bit. The company had originally thought that OpenAI was sniffing around and thinking, you know, possibly that OpenAI was going to acquire you, right?
Yeah, and in fact, a lot of us were just hearing about the news from the news. And we found out OpenAI there was rumors they were acquiring Windsurf. And then, of course, Anthropic stepped in saying, like, hey, we can't really give first-party access to a competitor. And then all of a sudden, Microsoft is in the news. And then, of course, Google. It was a crazy saga where almost every top tech player was involved.
All right. So you find out that they are taking your co-founders, the CEO, your head of business. Who put the crown on you, and how quickly did that happen?
I only found out a few days before. I was talking to the co-founders, and they just said, hey, listen, this is happening, and you're the only person that knows everybody in the company, you know every line of business. And they actually said you're the most creative, which I don't know if that's true, but basically the whole situation was pretty much placed on my shoulders, and then I had to go and find a win-win scenario, find an outcome where actually Windsurf could be stronger than it was before. And I think that's exactly what we've done with our merger with Cognition.
Okay, but in the moment, it's got to be hard. I'm sure you had a lot of employees saying, wait a minute, because a lot of employees join startups because they are inspired by the founders. The founders go, and these employees are thinking, well, wait a minute, what am I doing here anyway? And this company doesn't pay me as much as what others are getting elsewhere. The phones start ringing. Recruiters are calling your people. You knew this. So how did you make the case that people should stay versus leave?
I think the biggest thing I could do is come up with a plan that was believable and achievable. When I told everybody in the company the plan, obviously there was some emotions that were running hot on that day. And then in the meantime, there was a lot of different outcomes. There was VCs actually still interested in putting money in. There was a lot of companies that were interested. But basically, as the CEO, it was try to find as many good outcomes as possible, get them all on the table, and see what we can do to get this moving as fast as possible, because time was our enemy here. The longer the time horizon, the more the customers are going to panic, the more the employees are probably going to churn. So the whole thing that weekend was really, how do we get something as fast as possible?
And something that fit. And you found that in Cognition. And I mean, the press is saying, the Silicon Valley press is saying that Cognition offered something like $250 million for your IP and your branding, not the company outright, correct? So where does that leave you?
Actually, Cognition did acquire Windsurf.
Oh, it did acquire, okay.
Yeah, so we are, the cool thing is they were looking for a very good go-to-market team. And then Windsurf had the best go-to-market team in the AI industry. And obviously we were looking for some founder type folks to be part of the company. Some of our research engineers were left with Google. So we were looking for a team that had that fit. And if you look at the products, actually, We offer, the local agent you can steer, and they offer these agents that could go in the cloud, and you could run as many of them as possible. So the products themselves also fit like a glove. Ultimately, this was a perfect fit, this merger with Cognition.
It feels like an episode out of Silicon Valley, which was one of our favorite shows back in the day. I mean, this frantic, how do we save the company? The servers are imploding. And this was, the stool legs are coming out, the co-founders, but you've managed to do it. I mean, have you heard from anybody in Hollywood to say they want to tell the Windsurf story? Your building was actually the building that Silicon Valley used for the Pied Piper company. That was the fictitious company that they talked about.
That's right. That's right. And yes, there's a few people reaching out for documentaries and for movies.
Oh, really?
We haven't focused on it yet. There's a lot of building to do at the company right now. So our top priority is showing to the world that we're back. And even in the last 30 days since the merger, we've had 2 major releases. We've done a redesign of the entire app. I think we want to show the market that we're stronger than ever.
Demand a cameo role. Say, I want to be in it. You guys can do it, but I want to be in it. Well, Jeff, we love this story. We want to see you guys succeed. We want to see Cognition succeed. So keep us posted. We're going to follow you and see what happens. Thank you so much for telling the story.
Yeah, we'll be back to see the progress in a year or so.
Good, good. So will we.